We have some great news to talk about on the show with you guys today. It looks like Elon Musk is going to completely destroy Media Matters forever, which is awesome, with a thermonuclear lawsuit. This is what he's calling it, a thermonuclear lawsuit. He's going nuclear on them. Some might say he's going DEFCON 3 on them. I don't know. And this is because Media Matters has been lying about the platform. They're saying that he's placing all sorts of ads next to pro-Nazi content, next to racist content. Here's the article. As Musk endorses anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Okay, we got to stop there. We covered this in a previous segment. Here's what happened, for those who don't know. Someone put up on Twitter that they don't care that you see a lot of these, like, the product of immigration, basically, the product of diversity that has been shoved down our throats for years and years and years, marching with Palestinian flags, pulling down Israeli posters. The post basically said, like, I'm not going to shed a tear for this because Jewish intellectuals have been pushing anti-white hatred down our throats for decades in this country. And Elon Musk responded to this post and he said, you have spoken the actual truth. And so this is what they're saying is endorsing anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. But this is something that even Ben Shapiro the other day on his show, who's like, you can't get more Jewish than Ben Shapiro, okay? Even he said it was true. Even he said it was true. Okay, we've got articles up on our website, and you know we were called the same names for having stuff like this up on our website. This is historically accurate. Okay, you get into the Frankfurt School, you get into Max Horkheimer, you get into Theodore Adorno, you get into George Lukács, you get into Karl Marx, who is Jewish, Rosa Luxemburg, Lenin. You get into all of these different people and all of this different history, and this is where modern leftism comes from. Critical race theory comes from critical theory, which comes from the Frankfurt School. Okay, look at all of the people that have written all of the like anti-white books, all of these books about ending whiteness and white privilege, and all of these books that are like required reading in a lot of universities. And these people that show up to give speeches, these are all written by Jewish intellectuals. And so what he said was provably true. Elon Musk responded to it by saying, yes, it is true. And this is what they're calling anti-Semitic. But here's the thing. You go to people who have worked for the New York Times, ex-employees of the New York Times who have their own organizations now. They're coming out and saying, our organization tried to reproduce the findings of Media Matters, and we could not. It's because it looks like Media Matters was just going to like the profiles of like individual anons on Twitter and like refreshing their feed over and over and over again. Probably some fat chick, some like fat woman, childless, single, lone, and sad fat woman sitting on her couch drinking a bottle of wine, petting her dog because she doesn't have any kids, refreshing her feed over and over and over again until she finally saw like an Xfinity ad, then took a screenshot and wrote this article. Like, this is what this lawsuit is about, and we hope that he's successful in this and that this is just the first step into going after groups like the ADL, SPLC, and others. So we're going to talk about all of this today. We got a lot of really good stuff. I'm sort of like giving a little bit to you guys already. We got to save it. We got to save a lot of the good stuff here. Before we get into it, I just want to tell you guys that this show has been struggling. We have been under attack constantly for years and years and years. In fact, we just got attacked by Media Matters just the other day. Just like 4 days ago, Media Matters comes out with this article here, okay? This is from Media, and they were so lazy that they just used a screenshot from the show to use as their thumbnail. At least like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when they would attack me, they would do cool thumbnails. You know, at least like the SPLC, when they attack me, they do like a cool thumbnail. So we're under attack. The show is struggling. We've been banned from every single payment processor, basically every single social media platform. Our advertisers have been attacked. The New York Times got me canceled from MyPillow, okay? We have a screenshot here in that same post. The New York Times got me canceled from, at least they came up with a good thumbnail. They got me canceled by MyPillow. Okay, so the show needs your support. We have a store, okay? If you're looking to get a Christmas present, if you're looking to get a shirt that says Christ is King, we've got a store. You can find the link in the description below. If like a couple hundred of you order a shirt or a mug or something, this is going to keep the show going for a little bit more time, okay? So make sure to check it out. Links are in the description below, rightsidethreads.com. That's the store. You can also go to our flow code. It's a link to all links. It's in the description. We've got crypto, So be nice to the show this holiday season. All right, so let's get into this article here. This is from the New York Post. It says Elon Musk's X follows through with thermonuclear lawsuit against Media Matters. Messaging platform X on Monday sued a media watchdog group, Media Matters, alleging the organization defamed the platform after it published a report that said ads for major brands had appeared next to posts touting Nazism. X, formerly Twitter, has faced growing outrage since Media Matters published the report on Thursday, which led IBM, Comcast, and several other advertisers to pull ads from the platform in response. On Saturday, Musk posted that X would file a thermonuclear lawsuit against Media Matters and others who colluded in this fraudulent attack on our company. Yeah, the ADL, again, the ADL is kind of like a final boss in this. We hope that he eventually progresses to that. Side note, at the same time, Truth Social has filed a defamation suits against 20 different media companies. But Chief Trumpster, who you all know and love, posted about this lawsuit on Twitter. He got a response from the man himself, Elon Musk, who says the first of many. And like we said, we don't know if this is the first of many lawsuits against Media Matters or the first of many lawsuits against other organizations like Media Matters. But a very good news nonetheless. Now, Michael Schellenberger, who is Jewish, by the way, used to work for the New York Times, I believe. He says the media say X is placing Apple, IBM, and other ads near pro-Nazi content, but it's not. We tried various ways to replicate Media Matters' research and couldn't. The real goal of Media Matters isn't to fight anti-Semitism, it's to destroy X as a free speech platform, which is true, right? Free speech is a threat to them, especially during wartime. When you can see, the ABC News post that video of what they call warfare in Syria, and you can debunk them in real time and say, no, sorry, ABC News, that was actually a video of a gun range in Kentucky, which literally happened, by the way. They don't like that. They don't like that they can't just post whatever they want and make you believe it. This is Linda Yaccarino. If you know me, you know I'm committed to truth and fairness. Here's the truth. Not a single authentic user on X saw IBM's, Comcast, or Oracle's ads next to the content in Media Matters' article. Only 2 users saw Apple's ad next to the content, at least one of which was Media Matters. Data wins over manipulation or allegations. Don't be manipulated. Stand with X. And here's the thing, this is all obviously, newsflash. This is all just bullshit. Okay? You go back to 6 months ago, everyone was saying what? Everyone was saying that white nationalist terrorists are the biggest threat to the country. This is what they were saying. This came from, in large part, an ADL report, a report by the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith. This is a Jewish group. And even the Washington Post, called out the ADL on their bullshit. There was an opinion piece written in the Washington Post, which basically called out this report and went through it, line item by line item. And they said, well, hold on a minute. Most of these attacks that you're saying were committed by white nationalists were prison gang fights. Were people who died during prison gang fights. And you're listing them as white nationalist attacks to inflate your numbers. This is the same sort of thing that Media Matters is doing. We'll just go back to the Post here. Let's go back to it. This is there. Again, it's like some fat wine mom petting her dog, drinking a bottle of wine, visiting individual accounts that, I don't, maybe follow, I don't know who, some, neo-Nazi on Twitter or whatever, and refreshing her feed over and over and over again to get the ads, and then she screenshots it and then writes the article. That's basically what this is. And so Elon Musk's lawsuit should be successful. And if it is successful, this is basically going to destroy Media Matters. And then we can move on to bigger and better things. So here's the this is the head of Media Matters on MSNBC. Take a look.
To keep in mind is that it's not really clear what his cause of action is, and I think the most important thing is that in his response, in that legal threat, he actually confirmed that our reporting was accurate. I mean, he said that everything in our report actually, as we said it existed, did actually exist on the platform, and that's basically our core argument: is that the platform is so saturated with extremism, with white genocide, with anti-Semitism, with racism, with conspiracy theories, things that otherwise should be managed in some way, that they can't actually protect the few brands that are still willing to remain on the platform. And this has actually been an ongoing thing.
I don't even want to play any more of that. There's really no point in playing any more of that. The thing is that they're afraid of the truth. They're afraid, especially during wartime, like I talked about. Like, they don't want to be debunked in real time. And whatever story they're trying to push, not even just like about war, they don't want to be debunked in real time because this is a threat to them. This is a danger to them. I'm going to go to someone. Let me just go to someone here. This is an account I follow on Twitter. This is Matt Wallace. He's got like 1.3 million. He's got 1.3 million followers. He posted something recently. Let me pull it up here. He posted this recently. And he said, article posted one day before 9/11 predicts possible false flag attack from Israeli government. And it says here, in this report, they described the Mossad as a wild card. I'm just going to go to it here. This is a Washington Times article. We have the actual archived article from a day before 9/11. This is September 10th, 2001. Now remember, this is a post that people are quote tweeting and saying, Elon Musk, why is this on your platform? This is anti-Semitism. He just posted about this article. This is from one day before September 11th, and this is how it describes Israel. It said Israel is known to disregard international law to accomplish its mission, which is true. And it also says the Mossad is a wild card. It's ruthless and cunning and has the capability to target U.S. forces and make it look like a Palestinian Arab attack. Maybe because they have in like 12 other instances. Have you ever heard of the Levant affair? Have you ever heard of the Levant affair where they dressed up as Egyptians and planned to attack American military installations in order to get America to fight its war against Egypt? Ever heard of that? There's like 11 other things that we've been over on our show. But this is interesting because this is one day before September 11th. They were going to go in. They were talking about a truth. They were talking about a potential two-state solution. And then all of a sudden, September 11th happens. Very interesting stuff. There was another post by him. Let me go to his... he talks about Jeff Epstein being a Mossad agent, which he literally was a Mossad agent, trying to blackmail U.S. politicians into doing what's best for the state of Israel. This is like common knowledge. And then there was something else that he posted about 9/11, which a lot of people are calling, a lot of news outlets are using as an example of anti-Semitism. He says, rumors are circulating that the Israeli government orchestrated 9/11 as a false flag attack to get the United States military involved in their conflicts in the Middle East. Do you believe that's possible? He didn't even say that they did it. He's just asking a question. It's got 17,000 retweets, 8.7 million views. See, here's the thing. If there's a level playing field on these platforms, we completely dominate these platforms. We dominate these platforms. We dominated YouTube when it was a level playing field. We dominated Twitter. We dominated Facebook. And so this is why they want this censorship. And, it's a tool for a lot of things. It's a tool to shove the moles back in the mole holes as they pop out, whether it be with, during wartime, debunking certain things, spreading information they don't like. They don't want people to know. They've worked really hard to hide from the American people over the years. They've paid a lot of money to hide. Or, just simply just dominating the space, just dominating the public square, because that's what we would do if we had a level playing field. To go back to the Google employees, they had this employee meeting, this like video meeting back during 2016, where they said, we have to make sure that this never happens again with the election. Talking about Donald Trump, right? And then after that, we saw a lot of censorship come out. And so Twitter is the last mainstream platform that actually has kind of free speech on it. And they can't have this. They can't have this. And so now we see Elon Musk potentially throwing them a bone. ADL celebrates Elon Musk's crackdown on pro-Palestinian speech. He basically said on Twitter that saying that, Palestine will be free from the river to the sea is calling for genocide and that this would be banned. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen any big accounts banned for this. In fact, when he announced this on Twitter, basically everyone in his replies were saying, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, and none of those people were banned from what I know. No big accounts have been banned. And so is this just a way to get them off his back? Is this just a way to get them from stop spraying him down with hoses on super yachts? For those who don't understand that joke, look it up. Is this just a way to get them off his back? I don't know. Maybe it is. He also said recently that X Corp will be donating all revenue from advertising and subscriptions associated with their war in Gaza to hospitals in Israel and the Red Cross. And again, Why does this one group of people get this special deal over and over and over and over again? Like, you hear about all these different professors being fired for, like, not being pro-Israel. And what about, like, all the professors behind, like, white genocide tweets and white genocide statements and books about white privilege and whiteness? And the Jewish professor that we wrote about 2 years ago, who wrote a scientific study is calling whiteness a disease and how we need to, like, root it out. Right? What about those professors? What about when ads are placed next to calls for white genocide or attacks on white people? Why does no one care? And the answer is simple. The answer is because white people are not in control. You know, contrary to popular belief, white people, on average, are not really in control. Because if we were in control, we can actually do something about all of the anti-white attacks and all of the stuff that I'm talking about, but we can't. We don't have the power to. And the people that do have the power to aren't actually willing to do something, aren't really actually willing to do anything about any of that. So going back to this post here, Elon Musk says that he's going to be donating all ad revenue and subscriptions associated with the war in Gaza to hospitals in Israel and the Red Cross Crescent in Gaza. Here's the thing. Israel, all of their hospitals are totally fine. Their hospitals work. They're not damaged. They haven't been bombed. They're all operating. They're all up and fine with the latest and greatest equipment. On the other hand, in Gaza, 21 of the 35 hospitals in Gaza, including their only cancer center, are completely out of service. They have either been completely destroyed or they're non-operational because they've been damaged. All of the other of the 35 hospitals have been damaged and are short on medicines and essential supplies. So where's the calls to donate to them? 10,000 people, 10 to 15,000 people have been killed in Gaza since this war began. The vast majority of them are children. Now, he's talking about calls for genocide. You know, Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. What about people like James Woods, who said that, you know, basically called to kill them all? He hashtag kill them all. What about people like Joel Pollack of Breitbart News, who said, you know, we should just wipe them all out and annex the land to Israel? What about them? Are they going to get banned from the platform? Of course not. If he actually implements this terms of service, if he actually does this, and this is not just trying to throw them a bone, trying to get them off his back, are those people going to be banned? Of course not. Are the people calling for white genocide going to be banned? Of course not. They're not going to be censored. They're not going to be flagged. There was just something that was posted by Israeli media the other day. I'm going to go to this here. This is these are children. Okay, this is posted by Israeli media, and they say, within a year, we will annihilate everyone in Palestine. These are children singing this song. They say their soul fights for our people, one people. We won't be silent. We will show the world how we destroyed our enemy. And the last clip is like them bombing all of these hospitals, them bombing all of these hospitals and all of these like refugee centers. Alan Dershowitz, okay, basically argued the other day that, yes, civilians are being killed, but it doesn't matter because they voted for Hamas. Take a look at this.
Remember that the citizens of Gaza, these innocent civilians who so many people are shedding tears about, they voted for Hamas in the last election, and they would probably vote for Hamas today. So yeah, they're non-combatants, they're civilians, but they're supporters of Hamas. Whereas the people who were killed in Israel, many of them were not supporters of Netanyahu. Many of them represented kind of left-wing kibbutzniks, peace activists, people who were opposed to the Netanyahu government, people who wanted a two-state solution, people who were opposed to the settlements, people who were opposed to the occupation, and they were killed. And so when you look at these civilian deaths, you have to ask yourself a question: how many of them really are civilians?
Here's the thing, okay? The half of the population, more than half of the people that the Israeli military has killed are children. They weren't even alive in the last election. Was it 2007? They weren't even alive yet, a lot of them, okay? So is this something that's going to be called out? Is this something that's going to be handled by Twitter's terms of service? Again, probably not. Most likely not. Actually, most definitely not. And so this brings us to this article here. David Horowitz group that helped launch Candace Owens' career, cut ties with her over her Israel stance. And so you have a lot of people that are trying to sell this like false dichotomy. I get this all the time. They're like, Vince, what do you think? They're a monolith? You think they're a monolith? You think they all think the same? You think that people like Ben Shapiro or Mark Levin agrees with someone like Sarah Silverman? You know, okay. Of course I don't. Of course I don't think that they're going to agree with Sarah Silverman on abortion or Black Lives Matter or some of these other things. But when it comes to Israel, they do. When it comes to their the thing that they believe is most important to them, yes, they do agree. Yes, they do completely 100% agree. Look at what's happening in Hollywood right now. I just saw this on Twitter. There was some person that was fired from the cast of Scream, the new Scream movie, because of this person's stance on Israel. Like, all of these people, even the non-Jewish ones, are coming out on Twitter in Hollywood in support of Israel because they know that they need the work. They need to keep the work that they're getting. This should really tell you something about who's really in control, okay? This is something that even Alan Dershowitz admitted in another video a long time ago. He admitted this openly. He has a problem actually keeping his mouth shut in a lot of these things. But this should tell you, like, who's really in control here. Because they try to create this false dichotomy between left-wing Jews and right-wing Jews. But when this all started happening, you had Ben Shapiro retweeting the ADL. Ben Shapiro retweeting the ADL. So you look at the conservative Jews, and, you know, they can agree with you on all of these different things. Black Lives Matter, you know, all of the abortion, gun rights, all of these different things. But if you offend them when it comes to Israel, but if you don't have the right take when it comes to Israel, you're gone. You're fired. And it's the same thing with left-wing Jews, right? They can agree with you. They can agree with the far left on everything, on abortion, on gun laws, on all of these different things. But once the left-wing people start to have these unsavory views when it comes to Israel, that's when they're going to cut ties with you. You've got all these Jewish billionaire donors who are donating to these universities, who are threatening to withhold their donations, pull back their donations, because of some of the pro-Palestine protests on university campuses. When was the last time you saw that for anti-white rhetoric going around college campuses? Never. Never. So the left-wing Jews will agree with you on all of these, will agree with the left on all these left-wing issues until it comes to Israel, and the right-wing Jews will agree with all the right-wing people on all of these different issues until it comes to Israel. And so there's like this false dichotomy here that people are trying to create, and no one is telling the truth. No one is telling the truth. We used to tell the truth in this country. We need Americans like Ted Pike and his wife, Elin, from the 1980s. Take a look at this.
Today, a foreign government, Israel, operates the most powerful lobby in Congress. This is AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Through control of Congress, Israel demands and gets nearly $5 billion annually. No elected official dares criticize Israel for fear the Jewish lobby will accuse him of anti-Semitism, the kiss of death for any politician. The president also knows what Israel wants, Israel gets.
Totally true. And we don't have to play that whole clip, but this is everyone knows this, right? Everyone knows this, and it's not just in Washington, D.C., and it's in every single American institution across the entire country. And so that's that's basically what we have for you guys for that. Make sure to support the show. We've got Right Side Threads. We've got the flow code in the link below. We got to keep this is what they want. They know that deplatforming works. They know that eventually over the years, if you attack them enough, if you deplatform them from enough things, that they'll eventually go away. They hate me. The New York Times and the ADL and the SPLC and Media Matters has come after me time and time again, this little show, because of words that I say. And it's because I'm effective, because I am palatable, because you can share one of my videos with someone and completely change their worldview in one video. This is the reason why they hate me so much. This is the reason why they fear me so much. And so we need your support. Go to the flow code. Link is in the description below. We've got all sorts of ways you can support the show. We've got the merch store. Make sure to check it out. It helps the show tremendously. Since we've been banned from every mainstream platform that exists, we need your support for the show to survive. You can support by subscribing to my Subscribestar for $5 a month to get access to exclusive content and more at other tiers. You can also support by using cryptocurrency, our P.O. Box, and as always, going to preparewithvincent.com or waterwithvincent.com to get your 25-year shelf life dry food supply or water filter systems. Check out dailyveracity.com/support to find all the links. It helps the show tremendously.